Hi everyone, Take the Knee 2 Tano here, the internet's busiest music nerd, and it's time for a review of this new Protomartyr album, Formal Growth in the Desert. Detroit rock outfit Protomartyr are back with their 6th full-length LP, and once again they are staying true to their very despondent brand of sad punk, with maybe some minor alterations around the edges. Their last record, Ultimate Success Today, saw the band building on the simple post-punk formula of their early records to create something more ambitious, dramatic, and even gothic, but for sure some of the impact and memorability was lost along the way. And Formal Growth in the Desert feels like another attempt at nailing that balance between grim and artsy, but also captivating and catchy. Though I was worried going into this record we would be in for another slight disappointment, given that the lead single Make Way was kind of a tough sell. We have a lot of very low, bellowing, Nick Cave-esque spoken word passages, alternating with these thunderous guitars and shouty refrains, and while it's a strong contrast, it's also disjointed in the most awkward of ways. Plus, the progression the song undergoes from here is a bit of a slog too, though it's definitely brooding. This thing broods. There's quite a few tracks on this thing I could say the same thing about, but rarely do they build up the tension they create into anything interesting, feeling limited in their capacity to inspire fear or unease. Plus, I usually find frontman Joe Casey to be way more gripping than the instrumentals and chord progressions that support him, be it on Fun in High School, which I think comes to a pretty unfulfilling finish. The story on Fulfillment Center is literally one of inconclusion to kind of a tale of tragedy following a fruitless search. Then the busy looping rhythm section and thin, tinny guitars on Let's Tip the Creator get kind of mind-numbing after a while, growing more and more stale as it plods along. I feel somewhat similarly about The Author as well as Graft versus Host, where the rhythms and basic guitars just aren't that much of a complement to the drama brought by the tunes and Joe's vocals. Out of all the slow burners on this record, the best has to be Elimination Dances. The instrumental there is actually quite murderous. And then there's also the closer Rain Garden, where we get some crushing walls of bass, guitar, and also strings that add a lot of drama into the mix. It all kind of culminates into this very powerful, enveloping sound. It is a very urgent and dark vibe that I wish was more prevalent on the rest of the record, as it's definitely more inspired and tortured than most of what's here. There's also a great beat switch on the track in the second half, a very eerie and romantic ending. Now, generally, I think I get more out of the punchier moments on this record, like For Tomorrow. With its driving guitars and pounding drums, this track definitely pulls more from the punkier end of the spectrum, plus with the occasional synth arpeggio, the track has a subtle new wave flair to it too. There are some equally explosive moments deeper into the track list as well, like the very tense POLACRILEX Kid, which has this odd persistent groove to it. Joe syncs up with the beat on this track tightly with these shouty staccato vocal lines. It's like he's in an argument with the instrumental. The pronounced verses on this track alternate with these bright shimmering walls of guitar that are actually kind of pretty for a Protomartyr record. Then there's 3800 Tigers, which is the most explosive cut on the entire album. It's kind of like a funky noise rock track with a 60s acid rock jam quality to it. Again, goth twist too. And honestly, I haven't heard this band sounding this fiery since some of their early stuff. But yeah, overall, this album, I thought it was kind of a mixed bag. There are some bops, there are a lot of slow burners, many of which I think grow a bit stagnant, but the few that do work really well. But even with the critiques I leveled being leveled, I still think these guys are one of the better goth-adjacent bands in the underground today. I'm feeling a strong 6 to a light 7 on this record. Transition, have you given this album a listen? Did you love it? Did you hate it? What would you rate it? You're the best, you're the best. What should I review next? Hit the like if you like. Please subscribe and please don't cry. Hit the bell as well. Over here next to my head, it's another video you can check out. Hit that up or the link to subscribe to the channel. Anthony Fantano, Protomartyr, forever.